Hi, this is Mike Lang with Nixle Software, and today we're going to talk about Canine Zeal and how you might import your AKC records into the website builder so that you don't have to do all that manual entry yourself. We do have other videos that are on how to register for the site and pick a plan and how to manually enter your dogs and litters. And if you only have a few to enter, like 5 or 10 dogs, you may just want to do it by manual entry. You can check out that other video. But we're going to dive into if you have a lot of dogs and if you've been a breeder for many years and you've got a lot of litters. So let's go ahead and get started. Here I've got the main screen of Canine Zeal up. You just want to existing account, sign in. So sign into your account. I do have that open on another tab already, so here I am. On your main page, once you log in, you'll see this. You'll see your profile information, and you'll see any kennels that you have, and the prior video you would have created your kennel already and picked a plan. So I'm going to go into details on this. Note you can't have more than one kennel. The reason you might want to do that is maybe you're the breeder of one kennel, but maybe you're co-owner of another kennel, or maybe you're doing some editing to help someone else on their other kennel update some pages or update some dog info. So you might be added as an editor to someone else's kennel. So you might have more than one here if that's the case. In this case, I'm going to work on Danemark Danes. This is Karen Martin's kennel for Great Danes. This is my mother's site. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. And right now we can see that there's no litters and no dogs in here at this time. But there is a hosting plan on here. So you want to make sure you have a plan. And if not, there's a sign up and pick a plan below. So what we're going to do is import dogs and litters, and when I press this, it's going to ask me to add some files. So we need to go get some, right? So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to AKC. I'm logged in with that account, and on this main page, when you go to My AKC, you will see a Manage Dogs link here at the top. So I'm just going to click on that. And this table down below here, this should have all of your dogs that are on AKC. And within this list, you just want to make sure it's on all dogs. And then there's this Excel link right here in this top command bar. I'm going to go ahead and click on that Excel link. It's going to open this pop-up, and it's got some instructions. So they don't give you a CSV file directly. They give some instructions about how to do it. Basically, one thing I would say to do is we don't want all the header information up here at the top about what the report date was, and what the criteria was in your form. We really just want to start here where it's the header rows and then all the data rows below it. So the instructions up here say to select it and copy it to Notepad. So we're going to do that, but we're going to start with the heading row. So I'm going to highlight all that, drag down the page, make sure I get the last bit of it, copy with Control C, or you could right click, copy, either way you want to do it. And then I'm going to open Notepad. I actually have an app called Notepad++. It's almost the same thing. I could just have more than one file open at a time. You can also use the Windows Notepad app. That's fine too. And Mac has similar text edit apps as well. Just do not use Microsoft Word because it adds a bunch of formatting characters that kind of messes it up. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in here. I just did that with Control V. You can also right click and there's a paste command. So you can see here I've got 188 rows, one of them is a header row, so I've got 197 dogs. I would not want to enter these manually into the site. Notice at the top we've got AKC number, dog name, fully titled, so it's got their titles as part of the dog name. The birth date, breed, and sex or gender, and that's the main fields that we care about that we're going to import. And you'll see there's some data rows. So you could just check these over if you want to, or if you just know it's already right because you've already checked your AKC records, that's fine too. So I'm going to save this file. I'm going to save it in my downloads folder, and I'm going to call it dogs. And I'm just going to give it a date so I remember later. For file type, you can just do TXT. You can do CSV. Either way is fine. The default is text. The instructions on AKC said to save it as a CSV. You can do that too. So now I have that file. It's on my computer. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that and get out of the way. The other thing we want is all your litter information. This is so we know who was bred to who and when and who's parent. So go back up to My AKC again. And then in Breeder Toolkit, you'll see one of the tools is manage litters. We're going to go into that. And here we see a table. We do not see an export to CSV option or Excel or anything like that. There's no exports. And we see we got 68 results, 68 litters, but we're only showing 20 at a time. You could export each page separately if you wanted to, but we could just tell it to show more at a time. In this case, we can show 80 at a time, and that covers all of ours, so we only need to copy this out one time. So how do we do this? We're going to go to this top row where the header is. We're going to click and drag and just highlight everything. So I'm going to click at the start of the word litter, and I'm going to drag down, and you can see those words in the title bar are highlighted. It's only a slightly different color, so it's hard to tell, but it is highlighted. I'm going to drag all the way down the table, and make sure these things are all closed, because if you expand them, it shows a lot of details in each dog, and then it wouldn't be a table of data. So we're just going to highlight all the way down the page, except not the footer. We just want to go to the end of the table. And so we are at the end there. You can let go of your mouse. Now we want to copy it. So you can use your command shortcut, Control C, or you can right click on the content, select copy. Either way will work. Now we need to put this in a spreadsheet somewhere so we can save it as CSV. You can open Excel, you can open up Google Sheets, you can open up any other word processor that you like. That pretty much any word processor will export to CSV. So I've got Google Sheets open. I'm going to just highlight in the first cell, and I'm going to do a paste. I can do Control V, which is the keyboard shortcut. I can right click and say paste. And there's our data that was on the web page, and it's in a tabular format. Now it looks like the headings aren't here. That's just because the text on the page was white, so it pasted over here as white. If I actually click in the cell, I can see it up here. If you want, you could click in this top to highlight everything, and you could go to Format, clear formatting, and now you'll see everything. That's an optional step to clear formatting. When we save it out to CSV, it's going to clear the formatting anyway in that saved copy. So I'm going to File, Download, and then download as a CSV. That's how you do it from Google Sheets. If you're in Microsoft Excel, there's just a file, save as, and then in the save as dialog, you can pick a file type and you just pick CSV. And other word processors will have a similar command. So CSV, it's now just downloaded a file, and the browser tells me a file was downloaded. So I'm just going to click on this little folder icon that says show in folder. I'm in Chrome. If you're in Edge or Firefox or something else, you'll have a similar way to access your downloads, or you can just open your downloads folder on your machine. All right, so I have two files here today. The dogs one that I named, that I saved from the text file, and this one that was an export. I'm just going to go and rename this file. I just hit F2 to rename. There's also a right-click option to rename. And I'm just going to call it litters, just so I know what it is later. And I usually put a date at the end just so I know when it was exported. If I do one later, after something was added, I'll know which file was the right one. All right, so I've got two files, litters and dogs. Now we can come back over to Canine Zeal, and we're ready to pick the files. Note at the top there's instructions for an import guide. If there's any questions along the way that I did not cover in this video, go to the page by just clicking this link. It'll open in a new window and it'll have more details written out. For example, if you don't have an AKC export, because maybe you used another international registration company, you could always export from there, but you might need to check the column names for dog and for the birth date and so forth, just to make sure it's a name that we're recognizing. So look at that import guide to see what those column names are if you're bringing it in from somewhere other than AKC. So I'm going to click Add Files, and it's going to bring up my Downloads folder. It might default to Documents for you. Just click on the place that you downloaded your files to. And I'm going to go ahead and pick just the litters first, but you can pick both and just upload them both at once. But I'm going to just show litters first as an example. When I click that, it's not actually uploading it yet. It's showing me a preview of what it would upload, and it's showing it how the importer understands the data, just so you can double check it and say, does that look right? And notice here it says dog imports preview, no dog file selected, so I didn't pick the dog file yet. And the litter import preview, it shows a whole bunch of records here. And so it shows the prefix for the litters, it shows the dams and sires' names and their registration numbers, the birth dates, and the breeds. So it is recognizing all this data. So I scrolled all the way up and down. It looks like everything's in the right spot, looks good. I'm going to go ahead and add the dog file next. Open that. And uh-oh, it says field errors, row 5, too many fields. So we do have one record that's got a little problem with it, and I did this on purpose, so we'll see what the problem is. But if let's skip the error for a moment. If we come down here to the import preview, these are the records that would import if I pushed upload all right now. And you can scroll down and see the reg number, the name, birth date, gender, and the breed are all in the right place. So I see that in general the file is correct. Okay, and halfway down here is the litter import preview. But there's this one record with an error. This is Denmark's glacier rewrite rules, and then in the birth date it says be strong and be you. And over in the breed column it's got a date. So it got a little confused in the CSV. Let's go see what happened on row 5 in that file. So here's the dog file. These are actually zero-based numbers, so it's really row 6. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the 6th one. This dog has a comma in its name, which is, I don't think it's very common, but in particular of Denmark Danes, they had one dog that had a comma in its name. So in this case, this kind of breaks the rules of CSV export, and this is really a problem on the AKC export. They should have handled this properly. What you're supposed to do in a CSV file, if there's a comma within a column value, you have to surround it in quotes. So I'm going to surround that dog name in quotes. And so now it won't interpret this comma as meaning, oh, the next field name now. So it won't interpret this as the birth date. And then this will stay the birth date, and this will stay the breed. So I'm just going to, that one change and save it. So when it came up with what row number is wrong, you know exactly where to go and which one to fix. So now I just need to cancel out of this and restart again. So add files, pick both the files this time. And there's still one more error here. It's the same record, it does see the quotes, and this is actually a bug in our importer. So AKC had a problem, we also have a small problem here when you have a comma in a dog's name. And the solution here is just take out the space in front and behind in those comma values. You can actually take out the spaces after any of the commas on any row. It's still a CSV file, but in particular when there's a comma and a value, the importer we're using does not like the spaces in those fields around it. So just at the beginning and end of each field, not the ones in the middle. You wouldn't want to take out the space in the middle of black mask, for example, because then that would make it one word, black mask. But just the spaces immediately before or after commas you could take out and not change the meaning at all. So I'm going to save that file. I'm going to come back out and I'm going to do it one more time. Upload those files. And there we go. No big red area at the top. So the importer thinks everything is okay, but you should still just do a quick scroll down and make sure the names are right and the names are in the right place, the dates, gender, and so forth are in the right spot. Just a quick scroll down. Oh, and there's a big one. Oh, that's just one with a really long list with a lot of titles in their name. That's fine. I'm going to keep going. All the dogs look good. All the litters look good. That's it. So I'm going to hit the upload now button. Upload all. And this, it says it's to please wait. I did not add Shiba Inu to my kennel yet, and it says it's not part of my kennel, so I need to fix that first. This Denmark Danes happen to breed one litter of Shiba Inus with someone else, so I need to actually go edit my kennel, secondary breeds, add Shiba Inu. This is also why we support having more than one breed for some plans. You just might have done that on a one-off, and that's fine. So import again, open that, everything looks good, I'll hit upload. Now it says please wait. Okay, this will take about 1 minute, 2 minutes, it really depends on how long your list is. In this case, the last time I timed it was about 2 to 3 minutes. It is actually creating all the 197 dogs here, and it's creating any dogs that were in the litter list that weren't in the active dogs list. It'll create them as well. So you'll have a full big list here. The reason we want you to wait is so that at the end it's going to give you a summary of what it did, and it's just for you to just have a good feeling that, oh yeah, it says everything worked. So there could be something that was a failure during the import process. Maybe there was an invalid date on a dog that it couldn't possibly have been born in that litter, so it might tell you, oh, this dog couldn't be added to the litter because it had the wrong birth date. So there could be little errors like that here and there. It'll tell you in the summary at the end. In this case, the import is done and it actually worked. 226 new dogs, 68 new litters. Remember, we only had 197 dogs in the dog list. The other dogs are ones that were parents of litters that were not in our dog list for some reason. Because sometimes AKC only includes the active dogs, not all of your dogs. So you may have that situation going on. If you can have a full and complete dogs list, that would be a little bit better, because then we wouldn't have to guess on the birth date on the ones we don't know it for. Currently, right now, what we do is we guess just January 1st of year one. So you might have some dog records in this case that do not have a birth date assigned, which is fine. You can just go in and edit it later. So everything worked. The duplicate spot, that would be like if you ran the import more than once. So you ran it today and you update your AKC records later and you want to do another import, you can just import the same whole list and it'll skip the ones that's already imported. You don't have to like filter out the ones you've already imported. So just upload the whole list again next time you update your AKC records, and it'll just add the new ones that were not already on here. And you just click done and that's it. And now in the background here, recent litters, I've got 3, recent dogs 3. If I go into manage dogs, I will see the entire list of dogs. So I can scroll down the page and see all of them. There's a lot there. Now this is where you'd want to go into each dog and you'd want to start to add the photos for the dog. You could go see who the parents are, and you could go you can create a web page for each one. It's really simple. You just hit the create page button. Now there's a page on your site for that dog. You don't have to do anything else to it. Although you can customize every page that you want to customize. Currently there's no site if you go to danemarkdanes.caninezeal.com, because I didn't hit the create web page button. So we do wait to create that initial page until you say you're ready to. So that would just be creating this page, and that would be covered in a different video. There already is one on the home page now. You can check that out as well. That's all I had to cover today in the import process. So reach out to us at help@nextsoul.com if you happen to need any help. There's also our Facebook user community group. Look for that link on our homepage, and we look forward to hearing from you.